Hey guys, I got a new video for you today, and we're going to be looking at a pretty interesting and cool looking flashlight I came across. This is the Rider RX from AceBeam. Now, I got an email from AceBeam in which they were showcasing this flashlight, and I did pretty much what everybody does when they see something that they want to buy. I went on YouTube and saw if there was any videos on it. There was a couple of videos, and it quickly struck my fancy, so I decided to go ahead and order it, and here it is. It comes in this just standard box here, gives you a look at the flashlight itself, and then just some manufacturing information. Nothing like you would normally see on other flashlight boxes where they show you like all the outputs and all that. That is neither here nor there. I like to have that information readily at hand, but getting into the flashlight, into the box, you can find that out really easy. They are marketing this as an EDC flashlight, which is really cool. A lot of companies are seeing the value of products geared towards EDC carry and stuff like that, because more and more people are jumping on the bandwagon of having EDC items and EDC setups and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and open up the box and see what it's all about. Alright guys, so opening up the box, you'll see you have quite a few accessories. Starting at the very top here, you have a small little lanyard here. It's branded AceBeam, and it is, you can cinch it down. So this is good if you want to go ahead and throw it onto the flashlight and you're going to be, maybe walking around or something like that, and there might be a chance that you might drop the flashlight. This is good because it can go on your wrist, and then you can actually cinch it so it doesn't go anywhere as you're using it. Probably one of the nicer lanyards that normally come with the flashlight, or wrist lanyards, but I normally don't use that on mine, so we'll set that off to the side. You have this little bag with quite a few spare O-rings. You have a couple different sizes, 4 total. Then you have your USB to USB-C charging cable. It is a short one, but feels like good quality. And again, the fact that it is USB-C is great because that means it will charge the battery pretty quickly as well. Then you also have your user manual here, which we'll take a look at in a second, and then the flashlight itself. So here is the user manual. Now, I always recommend that whenever you get any type of electronic equipment, you read through your user manuals, and especially flashlights that have multiple modes and stuff like that. So as you guys can see, it says user manual. It's got a picture of the flashlight, and then at the bottom it has Rider RX. Now, it does say unique EDC flashlight with Fidget, because that's actually one of the selling points of this flashlight, is that it can be used as a fidget toy. I don't know if I'd say a toy, but a fidget thing to play with. So besides the regular fidget factor that most flashlights already have. So on the back here, you do have your technical parameters, and if you guys want to go ahead and pause that so you can see the different outputs. Now it does tell you that you can use different types of batteries, but obviously it comes with the lithium-ion battery already in there, and I would probably just use that unless I was left needing my flashlight and having to charge the battery, so then I would have to remove it and use just a regular battery. But as you guys can see there, it does tell you that you have a high output of 450 lumens, mid of 280, low of 70, ultra low of 7, and then you have an SOS mode for 450 lumens. So let's take a look at the flashlight itself, and as you can see here, I went with the silver and blue option. There is a black and blue option as well, but I thought the silver and blue kind of contrasted really nice, and it showed off what AceBeam can do. Now, I've been really looking at the different lights from AceBeam lately, because they are what I would say really nice to look at flashlights. If nothing else, they look really cool, and I think this one is a great example of that. I just love the cutouts on the outside here, where you can actually see in and see that blue kind of barrel on the inside there. The pocket clip is also pretty interesting. It's not your typical kind of flat pocket clip that just clips onto the body of the flashlight itself, and that is because you actually use the pocket clip in the fidget portion of the flashlight. So when you're using it as a fidget toy, you would use the pocket clip for that. It is a it's one of those S pocket clips, or the ones that kind of turn back on itself so you can use it on the brim of a hat or something like that, or if you need to input it through there. And then it's a pretty interesting clip. Now, the one thing that I will note is that it does stick up a little bit from the body of the flashlight. Again, I think that's done for the purposes of the fidget option, but just for my taste, it sticks up a little bit too much. I wish it was a little bit more flush, and that it would allow the flashlight to ride a little bit deeper in my pocket. But again, that's just personal preference. As you guys can see on the top here, it also has the little hole where you're going to attach that lanyard if you wanted to do that. Now, this is a tail cap switch on there, which is what I prefer. You just use that, and you do have momentary on and constant on also. So either one you can do, which is nice. Branding on there right there says AceBeam, and if you flip it to the other side, it does say Rider RX, which is the model for this light. Now, you do have a little diagram right here. I don't know if you guys can make it out. It's basically an arrow that kind of curves down this way, and it's just telling you that the clip here can actually rotate this way, and then it can go down. And as you do that, it exposes the this little head right here on the bottom, and that's actually obviously the head of the flashlight, but it's what you're going to use to access the battery. So if you turn this right here, it actually loosens the head, and you gain access to the battery itself. And this is an AceBeam branded battery. It is 920 milliamps, 3.7 volts. And then right there you have your USB-C port, which you will use to recharge the battery. And then there's a little LED that'll let you know the status of the charge. We'll put that back in there and go ahead and put the head back on. Right? And once that is tight, you can go ahead and push the pocket clip back up and then over to the side, and it is in what I would say it's the lock position. So the fidget option of this is the fact that you can just kind of come back up and down, side to side on this, and just kind of fidget with it. Now, I did want to get this in hand to see if this was something that was pretty loose, because I was afraid that the pocket clip would, maybe when it was in a pocket or something like that, in a bag, would, on its own kind of switch over and then kind of fall down or something. But, I was pretty happy to see that it is pretty hard to do. So I don't foresee it doing it on its own, in a pocket or in a bag or something like that. Now, even though this is a tail cap switch, if you wanted to tail stand this, you actually have the option of doing that too, and that is if you go ahead and move the clip down to the bottom, it makes this a flat surface in the back, and then you can actually kind of tail stand it if you wanted to use it that way. So that's really cool, because I know one of the drawbacks of having a tail cap switch is the fact that you lose that ability to do that. Now, as I mentioned, you have momentary on, which you can just kind of cycle through by lightly pressing, and then it goes through the different modes. So again, you have your ultra low of 7 lumens, and I'm reading off the paper right here. So your ultra low of 7 lumens, your low of 70, your mid of 280, and then your high of 650 lumens. The 650 lumens will drop down to 450 lumens after 2 minutes, and then after 6 minutes it will drop down to 330 lumens, and then you'll have that for 55 minutes. And that's obviously designed to preserve the battery life and not to overheat the light itself. So that's cool. 330 lumens still is a lot of output for an EDC flashlight. Now, I consider this light more form over function. And what I mean by that is that I think it looks really, really nice. It looks really cool. But for the price, there's other lights out there that are comparable to it. Obviously the fidget thing is a gimmick in my opinion. It's just something that the light does, but it's not a necessity of the flashlight. But it is a nice EDC size flashlight. By way of comparison, I'll bring in here. This is one of my latest flashlights. This is the Olight. Here it is, i5R EOS. This is their new kind of plum color with gold accents on it. Almost dropped it. Very similar size. They both have a rechargeable battery. Obviously, the main difference is the output. I can't remember exactly what the max output of this one is, but I think it's right around the 300 lumen range. but obviously this one is just the 2 modes. You still do get constant and momentary, just like you do on the Rider RX here, but it's just 2 modes versus the 4 modes that this one has, and then the SOS mode. And speaking of the SOS mode, in order to access the SOS mode, you just kind of go through the modes twice, and when you get to the second time around, once you click it on, it actually comes on to the SOS mode, as you guys can see there, and then you just turn it off. Now you do have a memory function on this, so it will come on the last mode that you left it on. So this is one of the high modes. If I turn it off and wait a couple seconds, turn it back on, it will come back on that mode. So that's really cool, because again, if you have a mode that you normally use all the time, you don't have to be cycling through the different modes to get to it. But again, it's just very easy to do that either with the momentary or the constant on. So again, all in all, I think this is a really nice looking flashlight. I just, you know, a couple little aesthetic changes that I would do in order for it to, you know, be more beneficial for me. I think the fidget thing is, again, more of a gimmick. Without it, if you were to take that off, and then that would knock down the price a little bit on the flashlight, I think that would be good. If you guys are interested in seeing how much it is and, you know, maybe picking one up or learning a little bit more about it, I'll go ahead and leave a link below to their site so you guys can go ahead and do that. So there it is. Just a look at the new flashlight I picked up, the Rider RX from AceBeam. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Thanks.